The Idaho sun beat down at like 95 degrees. The guests literally held their breath.
Oh, I can just picture it.
Right. A bride walked down the aisle looking less like a traditional Hollywood star and more like, well, in her own words, an antique ghost doll.
Such a specific vibe.
It really is. And just like that, Hollywood had a completely new obsession. Welcome to Starscope Report.
Yeah, join Jordan and Jamie, meaning us,
Uh-huh.
as we uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals.
Exactly. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame. And for today's deep dive, our mission is to sift through a stack of sources to uncover the sheer mechanics of Hollywood illusions.
Because it's all about control, right? How these stars build these impenetrable, perfect narratives.
And, more importantly, what happens when reality suddenly decides to just shatter that glass house?
Oh, it always does eventually.
It really does.
Yeah.
So if you love uncovering Hollywood's hidden twists, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the wild stories we've got lined up.
We got a lot to cover today.
We do. So let's just jump right into the ultimate curated bubble. Emma Roberts and actor Cody John.
Right. The Idaho wedding.
Yeah, they officially tied the knot in a highly private 45-minute ceremony in Sun Valley, Idaho. This was on July 25th, 2026.
And this wasn't some huge, sprawling spectacle.
No, not at all. And what fascinates me here isn't even just the guest list. It's the sheer force of will it takes to engineer something this private in the modern media landscape.
Well, I mean, it requires immense capital. And honestly, strict narrative discipline.
Narrative discipline, I like that.
Yeah, because you have to remember the background here. They've been together for 4 years. They met through mutual friends back in the summer of 2022.
Right after Emma's split from Garrett Hedlund, right?
Exactly. But what's really driving the dynamic of this entire wedding is the massive disparity in their Hollywood footprints.
Oh, the power dynamic is completely asymmetrical.
100%. I mean, Emma has legacy fame. She has those massive streaming numbers with American Horror Story.
And a net worth floating around, what, $25 million?
Yeah, around there. And Cody is, he's definitely a rising talent. He had that great run on Wu-Tang, an American saga.
Right, but his financial and cultural footprint is, well, it's a fraction of hers. I think the sources put his net worth around $1 million.
Right, and yet this wedding wasn't this massive, flashy, Kardashian-style event designed to flaunt that wealth.
Which feels very deliberate.
It is deliberate. Flaunting wealth is actually kind of a liability in the current cultural climate.
Oh, totally.
So instead, Emma weaponized her resources to buy absolute privacy. She essentially front-ran the entire tabloid industry.
Wait, like with her engagement announcement?
Exactly. Think back to July 2024. She posted the engagement on Instagram with that caption.
Putting this here before my mom tells everyone.
Right.
See, I always just thought that was a funny, relatable joke. Like, oh, moms always have loose lips.
I mean, it plays as a joke, sure, but structurally, it's a preemptive strike. By acknowledging the like risk and controlling the drop herself, she just starves the gossip blogs of their exclusive.
She maintains total authorship. That's actually brilliant.
She keeps the power. And that authorship extended to literally every fiber of the wedding itself.
Literally every fiber. We have to talk about the dress.
We do.
Because it completely subverts that standard Hollywood glamour playbook.
Yeah.
She ditched the bright white sequined look completely.
No traditional white gown here.
None. Instead, she wore a custom Monique Lhuillier gown in an antique rose color.
A tea-stain shade.
Yeah. It had this silk-chiffon corset, a sheer shawl, a lace headpiece, and her stated inspiration for this is just so interesting. She told Vogue she's obsessed with antique books and ephemera.
Right, and that's where she dropped the whole antique ghost doll line.
Which is doing a lot of heavy lifting, don't you think?
How do you mean?
Well, it takes an event that could so easily be criticized as this opulent, out-of-touch display of extreme wealth, and it repackages it as this quirky, intellectual, almost literary aesthetic.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not about the money, it's about her taste.
And taste is the ultimate shield for the ultra-wealthy.
Definitely. Oh, and she later changed into an archival 2004 black Monique Lhuillier dress for the after party. Cody wore a brown suit.
Again, really leaning into that highly curated vintage reality, but the lengths they went to in order to capture that reality on camera, That's where the illusion gets so obvious to me.
Oh my gosh, this is the detail I literally cannot get over.
The platform.
The platform. Okay, so they're having this 45-minute ceremony. It is 95 degrees outside in Idaho. And to make sure the photography, specifically these top-angle drone shots, looked perfectly symmetrical,
Yeah.
Emma actually had to stand on a hidden raised platform while exchanging vows, just to balance out her and Cody's height difference.
It's wild. It strips away any pretense of organic romance. You are literally standing on an apple box to marry your husband.
It's like blocking a literal movie set. I kept trying to imagine the logistics of that.
Right.
Like you're pouring your heart out, you're making this lifelong commitment, but you have this producer brain in the back of your head whispering, don't step 2 inches to the left or you'll fall off the symmetry box.
You'll ruin the Vogue exclusive.
Exactly.
And that level of cinematic control means you have to keep uncontrollable elements completely off the set.
Which brings us to the family dynamics.
Right. Look at who was there. Her aunt, Julia Roberts, attended.
Oh, wearing a blue and white polka dot dress, alongside Danny Motter in a gray suit and a burgundy tie.
Right. Providing that ultimate picture-perfect Hollywood stamp of approval. But the shadow over that perfect picture is the absence of her father, Eric Roberts.
Yeah. The sources note their historically distant relationship, which is heavily tied to his past struggles with substance abuse.
Which is a painful, messy reality that millions of families deal with. But in the context of a highly manicured Hollywood narrative, a messy reality just cannot be permitted on the premises.
So instead of addressing it, they rewrite the script. Emma was walked down the aisle by her 5-year-old son, Rhodes.
Right.
Which, on the surface, is a deeply touching, emotional visual. But beneath the surface, it's also a fiercely protective maneuver. It ensures the narrative remains heartwarming rather than complicated.
Emma's wedding is really the gold standard for maintaining the A-list mystique. You build a fortress, you design a custom vintage reality inside it, and you only release the exact photos that you've geographically and structurally engineered.
It really is a masterclass in controlling the spotlight. But, and this is a big, but later in this deep dive, we're going to talk about a shocking twist at a Mumbai protest where a celebrity lost that control completely.
Oh, that story is intense.
It is. But first, if an Idaho estate is how a star builds a wall to keep us out, how do they handle the moments when they actually want us looking?
Well, they step out from behind the wall, but they bring all that invisible scaffolding with them. The transition from private curation to public curation relies on the exact same mechanical control.
Which perfectly explains the Katie Holmes red carpet debut.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so for weeks we've been seeing these incredibly subtle, blurry paparazzi shots of her with her rumored boyfriend, the Brooklyn artist, Jason Bard Yarmosky.
Just subtle little leaks.
Yeah, holding hands in East Hampton, leaving a Manhattan dinner. They look like these candid, stolen moments. But then, suddenly, they show up together at a Ferragamo pop-up event at Topping Rose House in Bridgehampton.
And they aren't hiding from the cameras anymore?
Not at all. She's in this striking sheer midnight blue shirt, a cream-fringed skirt, and they are standing dead center, actively posing for high-definition, officially sanctioned press photos.
Right.
It made me realize that those blurry photos from earlier in the month were essentially just the teaser trailer for this brand activation.
That is the absolute perfect way to describe the mechanics of the paparazzi dance. The general public often assumes paparazzi just stumble out of the bushes to catch these moments.
Right, like they're just lurking everywhere.
But in reality, the modern celebrity ecosystem relies heavily on called paparazzi. Exactly. A publicist tips off an agency to build intrigue. You leak a low-resolution dinner date to generate digital chatter. Then, once the analytics show the public interest is peaking, you cash in that attention at an explicitly sponsored event, like a Ferragamo pop-up.
Because at that point, the photos are guaranteed to be picked up by every fashion and gossip outlet in the world, and they take the brand's logo right along with them.
Exactly. The spontaneity is completely synthetic. It's just as scheduled as a studio movie release.
Wow. And scheduled predictability really is the lifeblood of the entertainment industry. They do not want organic surprises.
No, they hate surprises, which is why they lean so heavily into established anniversaries to manufacture our cultural moments.
Which brings us to the ultimate curated Hollywood cash cow. We have to talk about the 25th anniversary of Harry Potter.
This is massive.
It is. Warner Bros. Announced they are bringing all 8 films back to theaters worldwide from August 27th to September 3rd, 2026, to coincide with their Back to Hogwarts campaign.
The logistics of this are just staggering. They are activating a global fan base across multiple continents simultaneously.
Yeah, they have screenings in Venice, Interactive events in Madrid, Sydney, Berlin.
And the bait they are dangling to get millennials to buy movie tickets for films they already own on streaming is wild.
Oh, the bait is strong. They're hosting a massive wand lesson event at the Orangery Gardens at the Palace of Versailles.
Which sounds incredible, honestly.
It does. But the real centerpiece is a special theatrical screening of Sorcerer's Stone featuring exactly 12 minutes of unseen, behind-the-scenes footage.
Just 12 minutes.
Just 12 minutes. And this entire global carnival is just a runway leading up to the brand new Harry Potter TV series dropping on HBO Max on Christmas Day 2026.
Right. It is an incredibly efficient synergy of physical location-based entertainment, theatrical re-releases, and streaming promotion.
Okay, I have to stop you there.
Yeah.
Because I hear the business logic. But as someone looking at this from a fan's perspective, adding a mere 12 minutes of deleted scenes to a 25-year-old movie, is that genuinely honoring the legacy of a magical world for the fans? Or is it just a deeply cynical way for the studio to treat millennials like a giant nostalgia ATM?
A nostalgia ATM.
Just shake us by the ankles and see how much disposable income falls out.
It's a completely fair criticism, and the reality is that it's both. This hits on the core economics of nostalgia. You kind of have to think about nostalgia as a financial derivative in the entertainment industry.
Wait, a financial derivative? Explain how that works here.
So, producing a completely original $200 million cultural moment is a massive financial risk.
Right.
If it flops, executives lose their jobs.
Very true.
But repackaging a proven IP like Harry Potter, that's a risk-free asset. The emotional investment was already made by the audience 25 years ago. Nostalgia is like a high-yield savings account for these studios.
Oh, wow.
They made the initial deposit in 2001, and now they just keep returning to the ATM to withdraw the interest. They don't have to invent a new story. They just have to rent out Versailles and project a logo.
And we just hand over our money.
Exactly. They reap massive rewards from a captive audience that is just desperate to feel the way they did when they were 10 years old.
So we are literally paying premium prices to visit our own childhoods, and the admission fee just keeps going up.
It really does.
It's brilliant, but it feels a bit hollow when you really pull back the curtain. Are you guys team nostalgia, or are you team let it go? Let us know, and seriously, make sure you hit subscribe so you can catch all our deep dives into how Hollywood engineers these biggest moves.
Because as long as the fans keep buying the tickets, the curated PR machine will keep running on exactly that schedule.
Right. The machine works perfectly as long as the illusion holds, but what happens when the economic reality breaks the machine?
And a star decides the best PR strategy is to just ghost their own fans.
Yes. This is where the meticulously written script gets thrown right out the window.
And we get to see how fragile the bubble actually is.
So let's talk about country pop star Kacey Musgraves. She's out on her middle-of-nowhere tour, right? Supporting her 7th studio album. Out of nowhere, 3 major arena dates, Chicago, Boston, and Brooklyn, are abruptly canceled.
And tour cancellations happen all the time, especially post-pandemic.
Right, it's not unheard of.
No, but it wasn't the logistical failure that caused the massive online uproar. It was the absolute silence from the artists' camp.
The method of communication was honestly chilling. Fans were only notified via automated Ticketmaster emails.
It's just brutal.
Just this robotic boilerplate message. Your event has been canceled. Refunds will be processed in 7 to 10 days.
No contact.
None. No statement from Kacey Musgraves. No apology from her management on social media. Absolute radio silence.
The context of these specific dates is actually crucial to understanding why the silence happened.
Oh.
Yeah, these weren't the primary tour stops. These were overflow dates added roughly a week after the initial tour announcement, ostensibly to meet overwhelming fan demand.
But the reality of the touring industry right now paints a very different picture.
It does.
Because fans quickly noticed that the ticket prices for these extra dates were significantly higher than her previous tours, which leads us to the mechanics of modern touring. Why do these overflow dates suddenly vanish without a price?
Well, it comes down to dynamic pricing algorithms and the sheer cost of post-pandemic touring.
Okay, break that down.
The cost of tour buses, crew labor, venue cuts, they've all skyrocketed. To offset that, management relies on algorithms to price tickets based on perceived demand.
Right.
But if the algorithm overestimates that demand, if fans are simply priced out by inflation and high face values, the overflow dates won't sell.
Ah.
And playing a half-empty arena isn't just an ego blow. Financially, the artist can actually lose money just by turning on the lights.
So they literally have to pull the plug.
Exactly.
But instead of saying, hey guys, touring is really expensive right now and we couldn't make the math work, they say nothing. And to make matters infinitely worse,
Oh, the timing.
on the exact day these cancellation emails are hitting fans' inboxes, what is Casey doing?
Snorkeling.
Yes. She is posting Instagram stories of herself snorkeling in Greece and touring ancient ruins.
The visual juxtaposition is a masterclass in how not to handle a PR crisis.
It's infuriating. I was trying to figure out why this specific scenario makes fans so viscerally angry, and I realized it's the celebrity equivalent of being laid off from your job by an automated do not reply corporate email.
Oh, that's such a good comparison.
And as you're packing up your cubicle, you check LinkedIn and see your CEO posting yacht pictures in the Mediterranean. Why on earth do celebrities think a Greek vacation Instagram story is an acceptable substitute for a press release?
Because when you live your entire life inside the curated bubble, like Emma Roberts on her hidden platform or Katie Holmes at her orchestrated pop-up, you begin to suffer from a specific kind of cognitive dissonance.
Wow. Yeah.
You start to believe that you control reality simply by controlling the visual feed. If she doesn't acknowledge the canceled shows on her grid, maybe they cease to exist in her reality.
But the financial reality of the fans doesn't vanish. The fans suddenly see the massive cold machinery behind the art. They realize they aren't this beloved community, they are just data points on a Ticketmaster spreadsheet. The illusion shatters completely.
It does. But as chaotic and alienating as a canceled pop tour is, it's still fundamentally a manufactured economic drama.
True.
It is a completely different universe from what happens when the physical, unscripted reality of the real world violently collides with a public figure.
And that brings us to the most jarring story in our stack today. A stark reminder that fame is not a kinetic force field.
No, it's not.
We need to talk about the recent protests in Mumbai at Shivaji Park and what happened to comedian Raunak Rajani and his wife, Henna Mirchandani.
And we are reporting this impartially, focusing strictly on the mechanics of the event, based directly on the video evidence Rajani shared, as well as the documented medical aftermath.
Right. Regardless of the broader political context of the protests, the physical reality of what they experienced was harrowing.
Absolutely terrifying.
So, according to Raunak's footage and his detailed account, the incident escalated out of nowhere. They witnessed a young kid being detained by police and verbally challenged the officer's right to do so.
And in seconds, the situation deteriorated.
Raunak was pinned to the ground by a police officer in a khaki uniform.
And the video footage Rajani urged his followers to watch is deeply disturbing.
It's hard to watch.
When his wife, Henna, attempted to intervene and physically shield him, she was shoved aggressively into a police van by a plainclothes officer.
And then, as the video from inside the bus corroborates, the same officer in khaki kicked Henna in the ribs.
The physical toll of that sudden violence was severe. The couple initially tried to brush it off, publicly acknowledging that many other protesters had faced far worse brutality that week.
But physical trauma doesn't care about PR or optics. When Henna's pain refused to subside, they sought medical help.
And the x-rays confirmed she suffered fractured ribs from the kick.
And Raunak sustained a sprained neck from being pinned to the pavement. They are currently navigating the bureaucratic reality of waiting for officials to register a first information report, or FIR.
This incident is the ultimate counterweight to everything we've discussed today.
It really is.
We started this deep dive exploring how wealth, status, and fame allows someone to build a literal, physical platform to elevate themselves above reality.
Like Emma's wedding.
Right, to craft a pristine, 45-minute vintage illusion where nothing unpredictable is allowed to happen. But Rajani's terrifying experience proves that the bubble only exists when society agrees to uphold it.
The moment you step outside the managed environment, away from the red carpets, the exclusive magazine deals, the carefully priced arenas, your status means absolutely nothing.
Exactly. The unscripted reality of a chaotic political protest, the raw force of state power, or even just the brutal economics of a post-pandemic touring market. These forces do not care about your follower count.
They don't care about your archival designer dress.
Not at all. When the unscripted reality of the world decides to intrude, the curated curtain falls instantly, And the people behind it are just as vulnerable as anyone else.
It really forces you to reevaluate every piece of media we consume. I mean, we journeyed from the meticulously controlled fantasy of a vintage Idaho wedding, where even the angle of the sun was engineered for a magazine spread,
Right.
to the cold silence of a canceled arena tour, all the way to the harsh, violent reality facing public figures on the streets.
It highlights the central tension of modern pop culture. We relentlessly demand the flawless fantasy from our stars, but we are inevitably and sometimes brutally confronted with the reality.
Which leaves us with a final provocative thought to chew on today. As consumers, as the audience driving this entire machine, what do we actually want?
That's the real question.
Do we truly prefer the carefully curated antique ghost doll illusion of celebrity? The perfect dresses, the flawlessly timed debuts, the nostalgic anniversaries perfectly packaged for our consumption?
Or do we want something else?
Right. Or deep down in our psychology, do we secretly crave the moments when the facade finally cracks? When the hidden platform gives way and we get to see the messy, vulnerable, completely unscripted reality hiding just underneath the feed?
It's the eternal question of what we value more. The comfort of the performance or the messy truth behind it?
Something to think about the next time you scroll past a flawless, sun-drenched post on your feed. You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.